The main feature of this update is the custom character editor. To use it, craft yourself a girl wand with 1 gold ingot and 2 sticks. If you hover over a girl, the wand will light up. Right-clicking will open the menu. To customize your player girl instead, just hit numpad 5. You can change that button in the settings, of course. Since you haven't made any custom models yet, there's obviously nothing to select for you right now. The exception being kobolds and goblins, who have a lot of settings you can edit by default. If you press the folder button, the folder will be opened on where the custom models are to be created or imported. If you put a custom model in here, you don't have to restart the game to use it. All you have to do is click this reload button right here, and the mod will re-register all loaded models for you. The only thing you need to create custom models is a program called Blockbench. Head to blockbench.net, download and install the file depending on your operating system. Once installed, head to File, Plugins and install Geckolib animation utils. I'd also recommend Optimize since it, well, makes the program run faster. That's all. You can create custom models now. If you've never used Blockbench before, I highly encourage you to watch a few tutorials on YouTube on how Blockbench works, because I'm not going to explain the basics of Blockbench. Blockbench is the simplest model creator out there, so you really shouldn't have any issues on learning how it works. Custom models consist out of 3 parts: the model file itself, its texture, and a config file. To do all of this, I'll show you a few examples. The first thing we're going to create is a cool custom cap for Bia. Click on the folder icon and create a folder, calling it the name you want your custom model to be called. In my case, Cool Cap. The best way to create a custom model for a girl is to first get the girl's model file and the model config file from my public Discord server and save them into the folder you've just created. Open the girl's model file, right-click on the textures area, select Create Texture and enter the exact name of your model inside the name field and select blank as the texture type. You can set the resolution of your model's texture to whatever you like, depending on how detailed your model is supposed to be. In my case, 32x32 should be more than enough. Click Confirm, right-click the texture and set the render type to Layered. Click the Save icon and save the texture inside the folder you created earlier, next to the config file. On my Discord, I've also written which bone name corresponds to which custom model slot. In our case, we want to create a custom hat, so we search for the bone called Custom Head. Finding bones inside the model is very easy, just click in the general area and you should easily find the bone you're looking for. Inside this bone, you can basically do whatever you want. You can create as many cubes and bones as you wish. Everything inside here is going to be part of your custom model. I told you earlier to watch tutorials on how to use Blockbench, so I'ma just create the cap that I wanted to create. While working on the model's texture, you will notice that the girl's texture changes as well. You can completely ignore that. This is going to have no effect on the girls in game. This is just because neither Blockbench nor Minecraft was ever meant to have a mod like this. Once you're done, completely drag out the custom model from the girl's model and delete the girl model. Now hit File, Export, and export it as a Geckolib model. Save it inside the folder of your custom model and call it exactly after your model name and add .geo.json. That's it, your model and texture file are now done. Now you only gotta set up the config. The config file might be overwhelming at first, but all settings are very easy to understand and a lot of them are even optional. The first setting is the where type. As the description says, this is where the model is supposed to be placed later. In our case, it's head, so I'ma just enter that here. The value underneath, called custom bone, is for more complex stuff, which I'll cover after this example. You can completely leave it empty for this. The which girls field is also very simple. Just put in the girls' names, which should be able to wear this model. Leave it empty if you want all girls to use it. In my case, I'm going to enter Bia. Then you gotta select which lighting you want to use. If you have no idea what this even means, just try all 3 possible values and check what your model looks best with. In my case, I'll use the sex mode lighting. Then there's enable when nude. Also very simple, just enter either yes or no, depending if the girl should wear the model when she's nude. In my case, she should take off the cap, so I'm gonna enter no. Bones to hide is probably the most complex thing to understand from the whole file. This is mostly relevant if your model is supposed to replace parts of the girl. You can just leave it empty or fill bone names in here. In our example, you can see that those leaves that are stuck in Bia's hair kinda clip through the cap, and it would be better if those weren't rendered while the cap is being equipped. So I'ma just copy the bone names that make up those leaves and put it in here. These 2 values, the UI size and the vertical positioning, are for adjusting how big and how the model is vertically positioned in the UI. I'll show you what these 2 values do right when I'm done with the config file, so I'ma just leave them empty for now. In the author field, you can either enter your name or leave it empty, it's your choice. The version is mostly relevant for multiplayer. This is the first version of this model, so I'm just going to enter a 1 here. If you decide to update the model on a later date, you should also update this version number. This is important when using the custom model on a Minecraft server, so the server knows if it should update the model or not. In single player, it's actually kinda irrelevant. That's it. Save the config file and again, call it exactly what your model is called. Now you've got all 3 files and can click the reload button. If you did everything right, it will say in chat that your model was successfully registered, and you can select your custom model. If you did something wrong though, the mod won't crash, but instead tell you exactly what your mistake was. Just for demonstration purposes, I'ma just purposefully corrupt the model file, which would normally cause the game to crash. But when reloading, you'll see that the mod tells you the exact information of what is wrong with the model. It's the exact same for basically everything that you can do wrong. The mod won't crash, but instead tell you exactly what you did wrong. Also, you see that the model appears to be kinda small in the GUI. That's where these 2 values from earlier come in. I must set the size factor to 2 to make the model twice as big. Press reload, and now the cap has become much bigger in the GUI. It's a bit too big though, so I'ma change it to 1.5. It looks perfect now, but just again for demonstration purposes, I'ma just show you what the vertical positioning does. I'ma just enter a 10 in here, and you'll see that the model has been positioned 10 pixels further up. If I enter a -10 in here, the model will move 10 pixels down. Our cap was perfect though without any vertical positioning, so I'm gonna change it back to a 0. That's all. The cool cap is now perfectly usable. You can share the model with others by sending them the models folder. Now we're doing something a little bit more complex. The thing is called a custom character editor and not just an accessory editor after all. While most of these icons on the left are probably self-explanatory, this big ass C on the bottom, of which you can create as many as you want, is probably just raising a bit question mark in your head. You see, while the other simple wear types are bound to a specific bone location, the custom ones can be bound to any position in the girl's model you want. Those are the ones you're probably going to use most when customizing the girls. In this example, we're going to make Jenny have custom green eyes. So first we create a new folder. I'ma start with the left eye and call it Jenny Green Left Eye. I drag in Jenny's model and the config file. I do everything exactly as I did before by opening the model, making a new texture, and selecting the render type to be layered. Now the only real difference to the first example is that we can put our custom model wherever we want. In our case, we want to replace the left eye. So I'ma click it, create a new bone, which I'll call model. It is important to know that you should never move or rotate the root bone of your model. Always keep the first bone of your model at the exact location it was created. I really just want to copy the original and make it green, so I'm gonna just copy the iris cube and paste it into the model's bone. Now I'm gonna make a green texture. Done. Now the same as before, I drag out the model bone from the girl's body, delete the body, and export the model into the folder. Now we open the config file. The where type isn't one of the default ones, so I'm just going to enter custom bone into the where type. When using a custom bone as the where type, we also gotta specify the name of the bone our model should be parented to. In our case, that is iris face L, so I'm just going to put it in here. These custom eyes are for Jenny, so I'm going to enter Jenny into witch girls. When replacing parts of the girl, it makes most sense to use the same lighting as the girls use, obviously, which is the sex ones. When Jenny becomes nude, she is not supposed to peel her eyes off, so I might just enter yes in here. With the custom left eye, we want to replace the original eye, so I'm just going to enter iris face L here. With the UI stuff, we will see later if the eyes need to be bigger or differently vertically lined, so I'ma leave it empty for now. Into author I put in Schnee, and version is 1. Now I'ma save, rename the file's name to the actual model name, and hit the reload button. Now we can select Jenny to use the new eye. And that's it. This is how you create custom models with the new update. With some time and energy, you can basically replace every single part of the girls with your custom stuff. I'm very excited on what you guys will make out of that. To use the custom models on a server, you just place the models in a folder called SexMod Custom Models. To reload the models that are used on the server, you just use the command /reload custom models. If you join a new server with the new update installed, the mod will tell you that you first have to whitelist the server to allow it to send you custom models. You should only use custom models on servers you trust. The reason is that when enabling custom models on the server, your Minecraft obviously has to download the custom models that are installed on the server. If the model, texture or config files that the server has contain malicious things, those malicious things are going to end up on your computer. That's why you should only enable custom models on servers you know and trust the owner of. The same thing goes for the person who runs the server. Only install models on your server from people you know and trust. Even better is to check the files they are sending you. Let's do a small roleplay. Oh, crewmate sent me a cool custom model? Huh, I don't know him. I better check out the model before I put it on my server. Oh yeah, nice numbers and a brand. Oh, what the fuck? What is this? A full explanation on how to craft methamphetamine in Minecraft? No, this is a family-friendly server. Nice try, Walter, but everyone knows you can't be a Ninja Turtle if you're doing drugs. If you have a lot of custom bone models, it can become quite annoying to always equip and unequip them individually. That's where the second feature of the girl wand comes in. If you left-click a girl with it, you will receive the girl's model code, and it will be also stored in your clipboard. That's what the Ctrl-Z, Ctrl-V thing is called. You can store that or apply it to a girl by hovering over the girl you want to apply the model code to and enter /set model code and paste in the model code. Then the model code will be applied to the girl you are hovering. If you left click with the girl wand against the ground, you will receive the model code of the girl you are currently transformed as. If you use /set model code without hovering over a girl, the model code will be applied onto the girl you are transformed as. This is a quick and easy way to quickly store and load outfits you created with the custom model editor. Well, that's about it.